Good morning. I'm holding up a bottle of wine this morning. It's a special bottle. You can see on the label, Cana of Galilee. And this is a souvenir bottle from the Cana wedding wine. From a souvenir of Cana. Now that, you remember, was recorded by John in John chapter 2. I'm going to read it from show this around the right way. You see it's a passion translation. Jesus comes to a wedding. Now on the third day, now the significance of that means it was Tuesday, because the first day in a Hebrew calendar is Sunday. On the third day, Jesus' mother went to a wedding feast in the Galilean village of Cana. Jesus and all his disciples were invited. There were so many guests that they ran out of wine. When Mary realised it, she came to Jesus and said, "They have no wine. Can't you do something about it?" And Jesus replied, "My dear one, don't you understand that if I do this, it will change nothing for you, but it will change everything for me?" So Jesus had realised that this was significant. He said, "My hour of unveiling my power, the hour of power, has not yet come." Mary then went to the servers and said, "Whatever he says to do, do it." And there were 6 stone water pots used in the Jewish washing rituals, and each one could hold about 20 gallons. And Jesus came to the servers and instructed them, "Fill the pots with water right to the very brim." And he said, "Now fill your pitchers and take them to the master of ceremonies." And when they poured out their pitchers for the master of ceremonies to sample, the water had become wine. And when he tasted the water that had become wine, the master of ceremonies was impressed with its quality, although he didn't know where the wine had come from. Only the servants knew. He called the bridegroom over and said, "Every host serves his best wine first, until everybody has had a cup or two. Then he serves the cheaper wine. But you, my friend, you've reserved the most exquisite wine till now." Now, this is the key verse 11. This miracle in Cana was the first of many extraordinary miracles that Jesus performed in Galilee that revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Now, my title today is, why do we need miracles? Why are miracles important? Well, they're important for 2 reasons. The first reason is that probably at certain times in our lives we need a miracle. For instance, if you've got an organ of your body that's not functioning, you need a healing. But if for instance, the optic nerve has been removed and you're blind in one eye, you don't need a healing because the optic nerve ain't there anymore. You need a miracle to put the optic nerve back in again. Creative miracle. This was a creative miracle. And sometimes we need creative miracles to get us out of the messes that we get ourselves in. This particular wedding, so many guests, they got themselves into a situation where there was no more wine, and that was unheard of. At a wedding, they needed wine. So Mary asked Jesus, "Can't you do anything about it?" Now, Jesus told the servants to fill the water pots up and then take the water that was turned into wine to the master of the feast. And it then says, in the King James, let me read it from the King James, it says, "This miracle Jesus did and showed his glory." This was the first miracle that he did, and it showed forth his glory. That's John chapter 2. And verse 11, manifested forth his glory. Now, the people at the feast, they needed a miracle. That's the first reason why miracles are important. Because we, as people, we need miracles. And Jesus started his ministry with a miracle. Now, as ministers, it'd be good if my ministry started with a miracle. My ministry started with a CD tape, or a CD or a tape, and I recorded a message on it, a CD or a tape. And then I gave this little tape, cassette tape is what I meant to say. Started with a cassette tape. Didn't start with a miracle. It started with a cassette tape. And then I went into CDs, and now I'm on this YouTube, this online now, which is the most modern way of communicating the gospel. I'm also doing Zoom teachings as well as this, and this is helping me through the internet to get the message out. But it didn't begin with a miracle. We have seen created miracles rarely, but Jesus began his ministry with a created miracle. Now, the person in need needed the miracle, but God needed a miracle. Jesus needed a miracle. It tells you why. So that he could manifest his glory. Manifest means to bring something that is invisible into the visible realm. You can't see my breath. If I breathed on a glass, the water vapor in my breath would become visible because it's on a cold surface. But Jesus was the Son of God. He still is. But when he was on the earth, it wasn't obvious he was the Son of God. So he had to manifest his glory. He had to show his glory by the things we read about in the Bible. Now, in John, we realise that it's not just Jesus who's supposed to do these miracles. We're supposed to do the greater works, John 14 and verse 12. And he said just before he was crucified, he said, I assure you most solemnly, I tell you, that if anyone believes in me, he will himself be able to do these things and even greater things. So miracles are important. Don't let anybody tell you miracles were for then, miracles aren't for now. We need miracles, and God needs to work through us to manifest his divine presence, his glory. Amen? Think about that today. Do you good and have a good day. Bye-bye. See you soon.